Okay, so good morning. Real quick, I guess I'm going to try to explain what happened in court the other day. So, my attorney called me on Friday and said they want you in court on Monday. The judge did approve for my plea to get withdrawn, but then Judy Petrush, Gino's district attorney lady, wanted to fight it. So she had her opportunity to fight it on Monday. We went to court, and my attorney came up to me, which I had not talked to my attorney about what had happened. So basically, I just, after I found out that they were having me do 2 years of bullshit, which I found out is actually way worse and could have been extremely dangerous for me later. I'll explain. It was not just probation. When I went, okay, so I'll get there. Good thing I got the plea withdrawn because it could have been, like I said, very dangerous for me finding out later. So Emily basically was like, Jen, I'm going to take the total fall. I'm going to take the rap. You're not to say a word. Just sit there, be quiet, and I'm going to take the fall, which I did have to end up talking because this judge always asks me a million questions in court. So then Judy Petrush, the district attorney, came over, was talking to Emily, tried to make another deal, even though all these charges were supposed to all be dropped. Everything, wiretapping, everything, all dropped and confirmed in court, as I've been telling you guys on Facebook since August. Now Judy is going to offer me, instead of 2 years of shit, 1 year. So my attorney comes over and she was like, now she's offering 1 year. If you're not going to do 2 years, you don't want to do 1 year, right? And I was like, no. So we go before the judge. Judy has, a copy printed off of the transcript from my last hearing, which Judy was not even there. So Judy was trying to say that I was fully aware of the conditions, and the transcript proves that, and she has the transcript. So the judge starts reading the transcript, and obviously the transcript shows that I was not aware, and I was very confused and reluctant to want to take any guilty plea after all of this. But I was only doing it because I wanted this to be over with, and I did not want to have the stress of going to trial with Gino. Okay, if you're going to drop it all, I will take the simple assault misdemeanor on my record and be done with the strangulation. That's fine with me. But I found out immediately after court that wasn't the case, and I contacted my attorney immediately and reported back to downstairs to the judge's chambers immediately to say this is not what I agreed on. So my attorney the next day, she filed for a motion to withdraw my plea. The judge accepted it, and then Judy wanted to fight it, so that's what we went to court on Monday. So he read, the transcript out loud, and it's obvious that me, the judge, and my attorney were all going back and forth. Me not wanting to take a guilty plea, but just doing it to make my life easier. So, then the judge says, I've seen Jennifer in court plenty of times now, and he said, Jennifer, you're highly intellectual, but when it comes to this courtroom and everything that you have going on because of this divorce situation, it's stressful and you're emotional, and therefore I believe that you were confused that day. So I'm like, okay, blame me, say I'm confused because I'm emotional. That's fine, even though in reality I wasn't told the truth, and obviously my attorney knows that something went wrong because she was going to take the fall, and she did. So she tried to, but anyways, regardless, he withdrew my plea. It goes to trial unless Gino doesn't testify against me. However, he has already testified against me twice on this, and he has told two different stands about this, or two different stories on two different stands about the story. So I don't know if that's something that we can use in the future or what. But so anyways, they had sent me a letter. Probation had sent me a letter on Friday saying I need to report on Tuesday. So my attorney was like, Judy already has probation having her report on Tuesday. And Judy was like, that's not from me. That's not from my case. That must be for your other case. So immediately after court, my attorney was like, go up to probation and see what's going on. So there's no warrants put out for your arrest or anything. So I go up to probation. I find out that I don't have to be there for the other case, which makes sense, but it was Judy trying to get me to be there for the strangulation. So they were like, no, yeah, you were supposed to be here for the strangulation. And so then I had to say, well, the plea has just been withdrawn. And they had to go down to the clerk of courts to confirm that the plea was just withdrawn. And the lady was like, both of the ladies and this guy, they were in probation. They're very, very nice people. And she said, you keep saying probation, but you were not going to be on probation. You were going to be on parole. And I was like, well, what's the difference? And she's like, parole is way worse. Parole is way worse. So basically, like if I was on probation and if I messed up, which I had no plans of ever messing up my probation, but if I messed up or I could hold something against me, then you get free passes. Basically, they're more lenient. However, if you're on parole and you fuck up in any way, you go to jail and you do your full sentence. And she said that she's basically like never heard of someone going to jail on a pre-trial, not even ever being convicted. So my jail time was on a pre-trial. So I did jail time for things I never had been convicted of. And she says she's never heard of really anyone ever being on parole after that. I mean, parole is like after you do a prison sentence and been convicted. So my opinion, that was really scary for me to find out. And I really feel like I dodged a bullet because Judy is after my blood with Gino. I mean, she's the one who got my bond revoked for missing the call, which she sent to Gino's house. Which, if you miss the call, which is just a hearing that you go to before you decide on a trial, it's supposed to be a 24-hour bench warrant. Well, she pulled me out of my jail cell one morning when Judge Krieger, my judge for the strangulation, was out of town and put me before Judge Hathaway, who has a terrible reputation. She's now in orphans court, which is scary. They say that she's on drugs and she's an alcoholic and she acts like one. Well, anyway, she revoked my bond. Judge Krieger cannot believe that my bond was revoked, but that was supposed to be his decision, but Judy set it up to make it Judge Hathaway's decision, and that's why I was stuck in jail. And Judy is the one who I believe Gino probably gave $500 or whatever. He went straight to her after the PFA hearing saying, what can we do to her? What can we do to her? And we went to court and they upped my charges from a simple assault to a strangulation felony. And, they were supposed to drop the charges in 90 days, all these things, but Judy and Gino will not cooperate. So Gino wanted to